Some choices leave marks that never fade, scars that no mirror can hide, and secrets so heavy they shatter the soul. In 2018, in the quiet town of Maplewood, a woman's heart became a battlefield between desire and morality, a love so intoxicating, yet so forbidden, that it turned her into a stranger in her own life. What drives someone to betray their deepest values, only to find themselves drowning in guilt? Today, we uncover the harrowing story of a woman who lost herself in a forbidden affair, a journey that will leave you questioning the fragile line between love, lust, and self-respect. Disclaimer: this is a dramatic content for awareness and discussion only. Her name was Elena Carter, a 32-year-old marketing executive living in Maplewood, known for her charm, intelligence, and an impeccable reputation. She had everything society says a woman should want: stability, respect, and the admiration of friends and family. But beneath that polished exterior simmered a void, an unfulfilled longing that no success could fill. It was at a high-profile corporate retreat in Chicago where Elena's carefully ordered life would collide with temptation, testing the very boundaries of her morality and forcing her into a forbidden love that would haunt her forever. The retreat began like any other: workshops, networking dinners, and the polite laughter of colleagues masking subtle rivalries. Elena, always ambitious, found herself drawn to a man who seemed to exist entirely outside the rigid structures of her world. His name was Alexander Reed, a 37-year-old creative director from a rival firm. From the moment their eyes met, there was an unspoken magnetism, a pull neither could explain nor resist. During a late-night strategy session in the hotel lounge, the chemistry became undeniable. Alexander leaned close to discuss a project, and the warmth of his presence ignited a spark in Elena she hadn't felt in years. Their conversation danced along the line of flirtation, each word loaded with unspoken desire. It was electric, dangerous, and intoxicating. Elena knew it was wrong. She had a boyfriend, a life, a carefully curated image. But the human heart is rarely rational. As the night deepened, boundaries blurred. A shared drink became a shared secret glance, which became whispered confessions of longing. Elena's mind screamed caution, morality, loyalty, but her body betrayed her. In that moment, she felt alive, untethered, free from the expectations and labels that defined her day-to-day existence. The guilt came later, like a shadow she could not outrun, but in that fleeting hour, desire overshadowed conscience. Days passed, and the clandestine connection intensified. Texts exchanged under the guise of work updates became a lifeline of secret passions. They met in hotel corridors, in quiet coffee shops, always careful, always racing against discovery. Every touch, every lingering gaze was a defiance of rules, a surrender to temptation. Elena, who once prided herself on self-discipline, was slowly unraveling. She was living two lives: the respectable professional by day and the woman consumed by forbidden love by night. One evening, under the neon glow of a late-night diner, Alexander whispered something that would forever echo in her mind. "Elena, what we have, it's real. Don't deny yourself." But reality was relentless. With each stolen moment, Elena's guilt grew heavier, creeping into every aspect of her life. She began avoiding friends, canceling plans, and feeling a profound disconnect from herself. The affair, once thrilling, had begun to suffocate her. Back in Maplewood, the contrast between her outward life and inward turmoil became unbearable. At work, colleagues praised her achievements. At home, her boyfriend sensed a distance he couldn't name. Elena started questioning her worth, asking herself, "Who am I, if I cannot remain faithful to the person I promised to love?" Her nights were haunted by dreams of Alexander and waking remorse, each morning a grim reminder of the betrayal she carried silently. The tipping point arrived during a weekend trip she had planned with her boyfriend. Alexander called, insisting on one last meeting. The moment she saw him, all logic shattered. They embraced, and in that instant, Elena realized she had crossed a line from which there was no return. That night, she cried herself to sleep, the intoxicating allure of the affair now replaced with shame and self-loathing. She hated herself, not for feeling love, but for choosing lust over her principles, for letting secret passions define her reality. Elena's story is a chilling reminder that forbidden romance often comes at a cost far greater than the fleeting thrill. But what happens when the weight of betrayal consumes your identity entirely? Can forgiveness ever be found? Or is the shadow of a single decision enough to define a lifetime? As Elena wrestled with her conscience, the consequences of her secret began to ripple beyond her private life. Rumors, suspicions, and the inevitability of exposure loomed on the horizon. Could she ever reclaim the self-respect she had lost? Or was she destined to be haunted forever by the affair that made her hate herself? If this story has touched you so far, kindly comment, "I feel her pain." Share this story with all those who need to hear it. Subscribe to Taboo Romance Stories TVc, and follow for more real-life, emotional, and chilling stories on torn between desire and conscience. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell to continue Elena's journey in Part 2, where secrets will ignite consequences more devastating than desire itself. Elena sat alone in her apartment, the weight of Alexander's words pressing down on her chest like a physical force. Her hands trembled as she scrolled through the text messages, each line a reminder that the secret they shared was no longer theirs alone. Panic coiled inside her like a serpent, striking fear into every decision she had made. How had something that began as a stolen moment of desire spiraled into this crushing reality? She could feel her carefully constructed life, the career she had fought for, the love she had promised Thomas, the respect of friends and family, slipping through her fingers, dissolving into the shadows of her choices. At work, Elena noticed the subtle but undeniable change. Colleagues whispered behind closed doors, a glance too long, a smirk too knowing. She felt as though invisible eyes were watching her every move, waiting for her to falter. The pressure was suffocating, yet she could not bring herself to end the connection with Alexander. Each time her phone buzzed with a new message, adrenaline surged through her, mingled with shame. The thrill and the guilt were inseparable, two sides of the same coin that she could neither spend nor discard. One evening, as the city lights flickered outside her window, Alexander called. His voice was urgent, almost desperate, speaking words that made Elena's pulse race even as terror gripped her heart. He was leaving his current life behind, claiming that their love, or lust, she wasn't sure which, demanded boldness, action, a breaking free from the suffocating rules they had both tried to obey. And yet, every word he spoke seemed to slice into her, exposing the raw nerve of her guilt. Could she truly abandon everything for a forbidden passion? Could she forgive herself for the inevitable destruction that would follow if she chose him over her life, over her conscience? Elena's nights became haunted by restless dreams. In some, she was with Alexander, their bodies entwined in an endless embrace, laughter and whispers masking the sharp edges of reality. In others, she was alone, standing before Thomas, seeing the disappointment in his eyes, feeling the judgment of the world, hearing the whispered condemnations of friends and strangers alike. Each dream blurred into the next, weaving a tapestry of temptation, guilt, and heartache that no awake hour could unravel. Her journal, once a place of private reflection, became a desperate attempt at control. Words spilled onto pages. I am drowning in a sea of my own making. I crave him as if he were oxygen, yet I suffocate under the weight of what I've done. If only desire did not come with consequences. If only love could exist without ruin. The act of writing was both cathartic and tormenting, a silent witness to her unraveling as she struggled to reconcile desire with morality, passion with responsibility. And then came the confrontation she had feared but could not avoid. Thomas, sensing the fissures in their relationship, demanded honesty. He was gentle, calm at first, but the tension in his voice betrayed the storm beneath. Elena's heart hammered, every instinct screaming to protect her secret, yet her conscience battled the instinct to lie. The moment stretched like an eternity, and she realized with a chilling clarity that the truth, once unleashed, could not be contained. Could she face the man who loved her without shattering him completely? Could she reconcile the life she had built with the life she had risked for Alexander? In the days that followed, Elena felt as if she were walking through fog. Every interaction, every casual smile, every mundane task carried an unbearable weight. Alexander's messages continued, pleading, taunting, reminding her of the fire she could not resist. She was trapped in a liminal space between duty and desire, each choice fraught with peril, each temptation more powerful than the last. Friends noticed the change, offering concern disguised as curiosity, and Elena realized the fragile veneer of her life was cracking at the edges. Could she survive the inevitable collision between her secret and her public life? Or was the affair destined to consume everything she had ever valued? One evening, a package arrived at her apartment. Unmarked, anonymous. Inside, a photograph of Elena and Alexander, taken during one of their secret meetings, stared back at her. Panic surged in a tidal wave. Someone knew. Someone had captured the truth, frozen it in time, and now the facade she had maintained for months was under threat. Every instinct told her to run, to hide, to sever the connection. But the thought of losing Alexander, of letting go of the intoxicating bond they shared, felt impossible. How far would she go to protect a forbidden love? And at what cost? If this story has touched you so far, comment, "I feel her pain." Share this story with those who need to hear it, subscribe to Taboo Romance Stories TVc, and follow for more emotional, chilling, and forbidden romance stories. Turn on the notification bell to continue Elena's harrowing journey in the following part, where the consequences of passion will finally explode, and she will be forced to confront the true cost of her choices. The photograph burned in Elena's mind like a brand. Every corner of her apartment felt smaller, the walls pressing in, echoing with the whispers of what could no longer remain hidden. She paced, her thoughts spinning in a relentless storm. Alexander's name burned on her lips, a curse and a prayer intertwined. How had a stolen romance, born from a fleeting moment of desire, become a labyrinth of deceit and self-doubt? Every heartbeat reminded her of the dangerous allure that had entrapped her, and she knew there was no turning back, only the brutal reckoning that awaited. The next morning, Elena confronted Alexander. The tension between them was electric, a volatile mix of passion and fear. His eyes searched hers, desperate, vulnerable, yet equally consumed by the forbidden fire they had kindled. "Elena," he whispered, "we can't let this destroy everything. We must decide, now, what we truly want." Her chest tightened as she struggled to breathe. Every instinct screamed to abandon the affair, yet her soul rebelled at the thought of a life without him. The very air between them seemed charged with the weight of inevitability. The consequences of lust, masquerading as love, pressing down like an unrelenting storm. That night, Thomas waited, his eyes reflecting a mixture of confusion, pain, and unwavering love. Elena's confession shattered the fragile world they had shared. Every word felt like a blade slicing through her heart and his. She spoke of temptation, of longing, of a passion she could not resist, yet tried to understand. Thomas listened, his face a mask of disbelief and agony as Elena's soul spilled onto the floor like fragile glass. The silence afterward was deafening, a void that seemed to swallow everything they had once shared. Could love survive such betrayal? Or had she destroyed the one thing that truly mattered? days turned into nights of bitter reflection. Elena wandered through the city, lost in the neon haze, haunted by faces and memories. Alexander's presence was a phantom at every corner, a temptation she could not shake. Friends and colleagues whispered, rumors swirling, yet she could not bring herself to sever the connection. Each glance, each message, each thought of him was a razor that cut deeper into her morality, her dignity, her very sense of self. She was trapped, a prisoner of her own desire, forced to reckon with the truth that forbidden love often carries a price too heavy to bear. Then came the final confrontation with reality. The photograph had made its way into Thomas's hands, the proof of betrayal undeniable. Family gatherings became minefields of judgment, casual conversations turned into interrogations. Elena's heart was a battlefield of regret and longing. Alexander pleaded, demanded, and offered a life built on passion, yet every word seemed poisoned by the destruction their love had wrought. Could she embrace desire fully, knowing the ruin it had left behind? Could she find forgiveness within herself? Or would the self-loathing consume her entirely? In the end, Elena realized that some love stories, no matter how intoxicating, cannot survive the harsh light of truth. The affair that had begun as an escape had grown into a force that shattered her life, leaving nothing but the jagged fragments of a heart betrayed and a soul questioning its choices. She learned that lust masquerading as love is a dangerous mirage, promising fulfillment but delivering only heartbreak and self-doubt. And as she stared at the city below, a final question lingered, haunting and unresolved. Could one ever truly recover from the consequences of a love that should never have existed? If this story has touched you, comment, "I've felt her pain." Share this video with anyone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to Taboo Romance Stories TVc and follow for more forbidden, emotional, and chilling stories. Turn on the notification bell to stay connected to the tales of passion, desire, and heartbreak that test the boundaries of love and conscience. This is Taboo Romance Stories TVc, forbidden romance stories told like never before. Stay with us for more gripping tales of passion, desire, and heartbreak that defy the rules of love and life.